Hello everybody, welcome to this tutorial. If you're just starting out with Excel, then these 10 important Excel functions will save you hours and help you feel more confident. From basic arithmetic functions to smart data handling with lookup text and date functions, we're going to cover it all in this tutorial. So let's dive straight in. In this tutorial, I'll be working through some exercise files. If you'd like to follow along, you can download these exercise files using the link in the description. The link will take you to the Skillnator website where you can grab the file with just one click. Let's start off with the basic arithmetic functions, that is sum and average. The sum function, as the name implies, helps you add numbers. It's one of the easiest functions to use in Excel. Just write in the sum function and then select the range of values that you want to add. Close the bracket, and that's all. There's also a keyboard shortcut that we can use. Press and hold the Alt key on your keyboard and then press the equal sign. It will sum up the entire range of continuous cells. Now let's say if I want to find the average of a range of values, then I can use the average function. It works the same way and has a very similar syntax. Just write in the average function and then select the range of values for which we want to find average. Next up, we will look into the SUMIF function. The SUMIF function helps you add only those numbers that meet a certain criteria. Let's navigate to the SUMIF sheet. Here, I have the same dataset as the first sheet. We have a table with 3 columns: salesperson name, month name, and sales amount. But this time around, I don't want to sum up the entire sales number or entire sales column. Instead, I want to find the sum of sales only for Eva Brown and James Anderson. In this situation, I can use the SUMIF function. So I'm going to type in the SUMIF formula. The first argument is the range or the array that contains the criteria values which we want the formula to evaluate. So in this case, I'm going to select the column A. The second argument is the criteria against which we want the formula to evaluate the selected range. So here, I'm going to select the name of the salesperson for which I want to find the sum of sales. And the last argument is the sum range. This is the range of cells which we want the formula to sum if the criteria is met. So here, I'm going to select column C. Basically, we are telling the formula to look through the column A and see if the value matches Eva Brown. And if it does match, we want the formula to sum the value in column C. Now I'm going to close the formula, and there we go. As we can see, the formula has returned the sum of sales amount only for Eva Brown. Now I'm going to freeze the ranges so I can copy the formula down. And once I do that, it will give us the sum of sales value for James Anderson. Now let's navigate to the next sheet and look at slightly more advanced example. Let's assume I want to sum the sales amount for a specific salesperson and for a specific month, which means I want the formula to sum the sales number if not just one, but 2 criteria are met. In this situation, we can use the SUMIF function. So let's go ahead and type in the SUMIF function. In this function, we need to provide at least 3 arguments. The first argument is the sum range, that is, the range of values that we want the formula to add. So here, I'm going to select the sales amount column. The second argument is the criteria range 1, that is, the range or column that contains the values for the first criteria. So the first thing that I want the formula to evaluate is to see if the salesperson name is Eva Brown. And the list of the salesperson name is in column A. So I'm going to select column A for the criteria range 1. The third argument is criteria 1. And here we will feed in the name of the salesperson for which we want the formula to find out the sales value. The next arguments are optional. They're only required when you want the formula to evaluate a second or third set of criteria. In our example, we want the formula to evaluate whether the month is February or not. So for the criteria range 2, I'm going to select the month array. And for criteria 2, I'm going to feed in the name of the month, which is February. Now I'm going to close the formula with a bracket, and there we go. The formula retrieves the value only for Ava Brown and for the month of February. Again, I can freeze the columns and then drag it down. It will do the same for the next salesperson as well. An important thing to note for SUMIF function, and this also applies to the SUMIF function which we covered on the last sheet, is that the lengths of the ranges that we have provided to the formula have to be the same. Otherwise, the formula can throw an error. So let me just demonstrate that with the help of an example. I'll just select any one of the ranges and I'll reduce its length. And you'll see the formula will throw up an error. Next up, we're going to cover the SUMPRODUCT function. This function sums up the product of two or more ranges. Let's understand via an example. Let's navigate to the SUMPRODUCT sheet. Here, I have a table with a salesperson name, month name, quantity of sales that each salesperson sold, and the sales price at which they sold those quantities. And let's say we want to find the dollar value of the total sales made by all the salespeople. Now, one option could be to add a new column where we multiply the sales quantity with the sales price. That is, we find the sales value for each salesperson, and then we sum it up using the sum function. However, this approach involves an extra step. A faster way to do this would be to use the SUMPRODUCT function. So I'm going to type in the SUMPRODUCT formula. In SUMPRODUCT function, we need to provide at least two ranges of cells that we want to be multiplied. So I'm going to provide the sales quantity range and then put in a comma and then provide the range of cells that contain the sales price. Close the bracket and it will give us the same answer. Basically, the function multiplies both the columns that we have provided and then sums up the result of that multiplication. Like with other formulas that involve ranges as arguments, we need to ensure that the length of ranges provided in the SUMPRODUCT formula are also the same size. Otherwise, the formula can run into an error. Next, we will explore the logical functions. And the most important one that you'll come across is the if function. The if function checks whether a condition is true and returns one value if it is and another if it isn't. The best way to understand this is through an example. So let's switch over to the next sheet. Here, I've gotten a table with the salesperson name and the respective sales amount. Let's assume we want to give bonus to those salespeople who have achieved sales of greater than 15,000. To do this, I will use the if function. The if function takes in three arguments. The first one is the logical test. This is the condition we want the formula to check. Here, I want the formula to check if the sales is greater than 15,000, so I'm going to key in that. Second argument is value if true. That is, what do we want the formula to return if the condition is met? So if the salesperson has sales above 15,000, I want the formula to return bonus. And the third argument is what do we want the formula to return if the condition has failed? So here, I'm going to put no bonus. Let's close the bracket, and then we can drag the formula down. Now let's say I change my mind. We want to give bonuses to those with sales over 12,000 instead of 15,000. To do that, I'll need to edit the formula and replace 15,000 with 12,000. And then again copy this and paste it to the entire range. This does the job for us, but it's quite time consuming. A better approach is to make the threshold dynamic. So I'm going to set up a new cell on the side and I'll put the bonus threshold in it. And now instead of hard coding the number in the formula, I will link it to this new cell that we have set up and freeze the reference to this cell. Now I can drag the formula down. Now let's say if we change our mind, say from 12,000 we want to give the bonus to 15,000, I'll just change this bonus threshold cell and the results are going to update automatically. No need to touch the formula again. Next, let's look at the COUNTIF function. This function counts how many cells meet a specific condition. In the same example which we just worked on, let's say I want to find out how many people will get the bonus. I can do that using the COUNTIF function. The COUNTIF function takes in two arguments, the range of cells to check and the criteria that must be met. So in this case, the range of cells that I want the formula to check is over here, column C, the bonus eligibility, and the criteria that needs to be met for it to be included in the count is bonus. So here we can see that 4 people will get the bonus if the threshold is 15,000. And if I change the threshold, the answer will change dynamically. Let's talk about the lookup functions. These functions help you retrieve data from one table and bring it into another. In this video, I'm going to cover them briefly, but there's a lot more depth to explore in this domain. I've created a dedicated video on lookup functions. You'll find the link in the description. For now, let's head over to the sheet named Lookup. Here, I've got 2 tables. One is the full data set. Let's call it the lookup table. This table has salespeople name and their sales amount. The other one is the summary table with just a few names. Let's call it the target table. And let's say we want to pull the sales amount for each of the person in the target table. We can use the XLOOKUP function to do that. The lookup function has 3 mandatory arguments. Lookup value. This is the value that we want the formula to scan in the lookup table. So in this example, we want the formula to scan for the salesperson name, so I'm going to reference that. Second argument is the lookup array. This is the column in the lookup table which contains the lookup values. So in this case, the column A of the table contains the salespeople name, so I'm going to select that as the lookup array. And the last one is the return array. That is the column of the lookup table from which we want the function to retrieve the data. We want the function to retrieve the sales amount, so I'm going to provide the sales amount column as the return array. Now I'm going to close the formula, freeze the cells, except for the lookup value, and it's going to bring up the right amount for us. Now you might be wondering, why are we complicating this too much? We could have just simply linked the cell in the target table with the relevant cell in the lookup table. So for example, if I want to find the sales amount for Olivia Smith, I could have put an equal to sign and linked it to the right cell in the lookup table. That would have done the job for us. The problem with this approach is that it's not dynamic. Let's say if I change the name of the salesperson here, if I put Jacob Lewis, the sales amount stays the same. It's still pointing to Olivia Smith. But if you use the XLOOKUP function, the entire setup becomes dynamic. So for example, if I change this to Ava Brown, the value will change automatically. In the next section, we'll look at some text functions. These functions are quite simple, but incredibly useful for cleaning data and speeding up the workflows. First, we'll look into the concatenate function, which lets you combine 2 pieces of text. Head over to the sheet called CONCAT. Here, we have a table which contains the first name of the salesperson in one column and the surnames in the second column. Let's say we want to create a full name in a single column. We can do that very easily using the concatenate function. I'll put the concatenate, then I'll give a reference to the first name, comma, and then the second name, and that's all. Now, as you can see, there are no spaces, so all we need to do is that after the first name, we're gonna put in the quotation mark, a space, and a quotation mark closing, and that's all. And now I can drag the formula down. Now, this might seem like a very simple use case, but concatenate can be really powerful in complex scenarios. For example, in my lookup functions video, I show how concatenate can be used in a combo technique to perform lookups based on multiple lookup values. Feel free to check it out. There's a link in the description. Next up, we have the len function. This function returns the number of characters in a text string. Sounds basic, but it can be quite helpful for data validation and cleaning. Let's navigate to the next sheet, where we will work through an example. Here, I have a list of employee codes. Let's say in our organization, these codes are always 6 digits. Now I want to check if any code in this list is longer or shorter than 6 digits, because that would indicate an error. I can use the len function to count the number of characters in each code. And then I can combine the result of the len function with the if statement to flag any invalid entries. So I'm going to type in if function. Logical test is to see whether the employee code is equal to 6. If it is, then I want to return OK. Otherwise, invalid. Drag the formula down, and here we go. Next, we're going to look at the left and right functions. These functions help you extract a specific number of characters from the start or the end of the string. In this example, we have employee codes which are made up of a country code, which is 3 characters, followed by 5 digits. Now let's say I want to calculate total sales for employees based in the United States and Canada. To solve this problem, we will first need to calculate the sales amount by country code. And to do that, we can use the left function. So I'm going to type in left. I'm going to provide the text string from which I want to extract the characters. I want to extract 3 characters from the start of the string, so I'm going to key in 3, and there we go. Now that we have the sales amount by country code, we can use the SUMIF formula to calculate the total sales for each given country. Lastly, let's take a look at simple but powerful date function called today. It returns the current date and it's updated automatically every day. Let's head to the final sheet. Here I have a table with customer names, amount receivable, and due dates. Let's say I want to find out which customers have overdue balances. To do that, first I'll have to compare the due date with today's date, and I can do that using the today function. So I'm going to type in today function, which effectively returns today's date, and then from there I will subtract the due date. So today is 3rd August 2025. So as we can see, this balance was due on 20th of July. So it's already overdue by 14 days. Now that we have the information about the overdue days, we can use the if statement to find out which customers are overdue. In the logical test, I will check whether the days since due date is more than 0. And if that is true, I'm going to return overdue. Otherwise, we can say not due yet. Let's do a quick recap of the functions we've covered today. Arithmetic functions like SUMIF help summarize the quantitative data. Logical functions let you assign values based on defined conditions. Lookup functions help pull data from one table to another. Text functions are great for cleaning and validating data. Date functions help you work more effectively with time-based data. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more practical tutorials.